Hi, thanks for checking out this video. I'm already in the middle of this repair, but I wanted to show some people something on this particular unit. This is a Cyclops master unit. It's a 27 stored, 20 output joule unit. Someone's been inside this before and done some rigging on this cord here, but what this unit was doing was it wouldn't come on at all. Pulled the fuse out of its little fuse holder here, and the fuse was bad. It had corrosion on the end of the fuse itself, which I don't have the fuse anymore. I'd already tossed it, but after I'd already started working on this thing. But the fuse is one of these little long tube fuses. This is a half amp fuse that the power cord side takes on this model, and it was all corroded on the silver part of the actual fuse. And I got looking at this, and it said this is all pitted and corroded. I did spray some crap in there and try to clean it up some, but it was also corroded inside the fuse mount itself that went into the case over here. So I don't know if lightning caused this or moisture or what, but I think moisture has gotten in this at some point in time, because if you look at right up here, these are usually silver and they're all rusted. So I think moisture's gotten inside this thing. These units, they're any AC model, doesn't matter what brand it is, are recommended not to be installed outdoors unless you put them in a box or build some kind of cover for them on all sides, top, bottom, or top side, the top of it, the sides of it, the front of it, anywhere that water could rush into it from the sides. Just an overhang of a building isn't going to work, because if the wind's blowing real hard, water is going to be flying around everywhere. So an overhang of a building is not really going to work real well. So if you can install it indoors, install it indoors. But if you got to install it outdoors for whatever reason, build a little box for it, mount it on a post, put a 5-gallon bucket over. These are, I think, narrow enough. A 5-gallon bucket will slide right over the top of these things. So I'm going to replace the fuse mount in this thing. And we use a different fuse mount than what Cyclops uses. Cyclops uses this kind that you kind of push and turn and locks it in, where we use these ones that are threaded. So I think they're a better quality. So they actually, you push them in a little bit and you thread them in, and then it locks on, stays put. It's a little bit bigger around than the other fuse holder is, so we have to make the hole a little bit bigger. But I wanted to show you this. So if you got a Cyclops unit, or any brand, Gallagher, Parmac, a Speedrite, or whatever, if it's an AC powered model, keep it indoors if you can. Or you're going to be sending it in to a guy like me to get worked on, because it got water in it and messed things up. But luckily, the guys, so far, we've had to repair a few parts in the board. This board was still good, and we bypassed the board at first. And after we repaired this board, and it started working. I mean, output voltage was good. And then I put power straight at the fuse up here and ran it through, and so I can go through this main part of this board, and it still pulsed. I know, okay, my fuse thing was bad. So we're gonna replace this fuse mount, and that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna show you how to replace this fuse mount, just if you're curious on how to do it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna drill this. We're gonna use a stepper bit to make this hole a little bit bigger. And I'm gonna go ahead and put this in there. And it's just a little too small, the hole, so we're going to just make it just a little bit bigger. And I'm not going to make it too big, because I want to test fit it, make sure it's big enough, just a little bit bigger. Almost. I don't want to go too big and thing be watered out too much. Perfect. That can go right in there. All right. So now I'm going to put in like this, where both the tabs on there are going to be face up. Look, where this one's going to be face up looking at you. I'll put this nut on there. Tighten it up. Cyclops makes a pretty good unit for the most part. I mean, they have the little quirky issues that they have with their stuff, but they're not a terrible brand by any means. There's a lot worse ones out there to put your money on and buy, but Cyclops makes a pretty good unit for the most part. There it is. I wish they used a different fuse mount. I wish they'd used the ones that we buy, because a lot better quality. I mean, I've had to replace these fuse mounts before, even when there's not water damage in it. So it just happens. Let's see. I gotta see this jerry rigging here. I gotta figure out what he got going on here. Okay. So it's gonna see. It's a different size anyway, so I'm gonna have to cut these off, and I'm gonna solder them to the back side of those tabs there. So I don't know why this cord must have got chewed on or something. I don't know. He's had to splice it. All right, get the solder here. End of it at. There it is. We're going to add a little solder to this one. Add a little solder to this one. Come on. Go down here, add some solder to the tab. I'm going to bend this tab up just a little bit so it's not resting against the plastic. Add some solder here. Alright, the input of the side of the fuse is your power cord side, so that's the back side of the fuse. Come on. Get more solder on here so that they'll talk to one another, or heat each other up better. Hot. Oh, jeez. You gotta hold that as long as you can until you can't hold it no more. It gets kind of hot pretty quick. But I don't want the wire to come loose before the solder hardens up. But that's, 800 degrees or so Fahrenheit on that solder. Yeah, I can just smell like a putrid, electrical corrosive smell inside this thing. So you can tell the case is pretty faded on it. Usually it's red, it's like this, but you can see it's all faded. So I can tell the thing's been outside because it's faded, and you can see the back of it's nice and red still. So yeah, this thing was outside. It wasn't even, I don't think it was protected. Also, when he had this on here, he has some kind of epoxy somewhere right around in here. I had a hell time trying to get it apart. So he put epoxy on there to, I guess, help it hold together. But let's go and turn it around here. Let's see. Yeah, this is a 2015 model, so it's 5 years old. So I'm powered on. Should work, hopefully. There it goes. Can't really see, but there's a little light down there flashing. So, yeah, gotta protect these things. You can't just, there's, like I said, there's no gaskets, just an overlapping case that smashes together. There's no gaskets on them. The other thing I don't like about these Cyclops units over time is, this thing's 5 years old, and the plastic is getting faded and it's getting kind of brittle. So the sun, they don't have UV inhibitors in their plastic. If they do, they don't have very much. So they're gonna, over time, if you got them outside or a hot building, or not really been a hot building, but outside and the sun beats on them, it's just gonna beat the crap out of the case. And I've seen them crack. Then if you have to ship it off, the plastic gets brittle. You have to, it cracks and breaks in shipping, stuff like that. So I'm just trying to give a little help here, to try to help you out without having to send something off for repair. We get enough units in for repair. I don't need extras. So if you've want to save yourself some hassle and time and money and stuff by not having to ship something off to get fixed, you got to protect your units. You got to keep them indoors if you can, or build a box one. These things don't get that hot, so you have to worry about them overheating, stuff like that. So, yeah, this is seen a little bit better days, but you know, it's 15. Look at the serial number, it says 15 on there, so it's a 2015 unit. Put my tester on here. Getting 8.5 kV, which is fine. Between 8 and 9 is usually what you get all these Cyclops Master units. So, well, that's really it for now on this one. I just realized that this side is missing the fuse on it, so we're going to have to put another fuse on this side. It's missing the cap on there. It looks like there's a bunch of corrosion inside there. Right inside there you can see some, I can't really see it, but it's all kind of crusty looking inside there, so we're going to have to replace the output fuse as well. So, well, I got to do that now. So, but I'm not going to show you how to do this. Basically the same thing. I got to remove that board out of the way, drill the hole out bigger, rewire it, put the board back on there, put it back together. So we're going to replace the fuse mount with the same type of fuse mount that we use on this side. But please, if you want to do yourself a favor, protect your any AC model. I don't care what brand it is. Protect it when it's outdoors, or you're going to get water in it. All these AC models are recommended to be installed indoors. If and some brands will even state it on the packaging. Like if you look at a Gallagher unit, like here's a Gallagher M600 sitting here. It wasn't it, but like this Gallagher unit, it says right on here, for inside use only. I mean, most people don't read the labels, but there's no gaskets inside these AC models, so you've got to protect them. If you want to put them outside, protect them. So, but, well, I'm going to get started on this thing, on this side of it, and call it done. But in the meantime, if something, if you need some help on repairs, or want to send one in to us to get fixed, we're happy to look at it. All of our contact information is down in the description area. Fencerfixer.com. Fencer and Fixer, both spelled with the F as in Frank. So, but in the meantime, we will see you guys later on. Bye-bye.